Welcome. Today we're launching a deep dive based on some fascinating sources, exploring a kind of biblical alternate history.
Right.
We're running a thought experiment, really. What if the husband figure in these key biblical narratives refused to join the wife figure after her deception? What if he refused the punishment?
What if he breaks what these sources are calling the redemptive fractal mold?
Exactly. So what is that mold, fundamentally?
Well, it's this theological pattern where the undefiled one, the husband figure, chooses to share the consequences, the burden of the fallen one. It's a sort of voluntary substitution.
Okay.
Our mission here is to see what happens if that substitution is refused. What are the logical outcomes based only on the text's own rules? Covenant, justice, sin.
Got it. So let's start at, the start. Adam and Eve in Genesis.
The foundational case.
Adam wasn't deceived. The text says he knew what he was doing when he joined Eve. That act sort of federated sin for everyone.
Yeah.
So what if he says no, refuses the fruit, stays undefiled in the garden?
The sources suggest immediate, isolation and failure. Adam's alone, perfect, but he can't be fruitful and multiply by himself.
Right, he's cut off.
But the bigger thing, the really shocking part, is what the sources call bifurcated humanity.
Bifurcated, you mean split. So like Adam stays pure, alone in Eden, but Eve and everyone who comes from her are just damned. Is that the idea?
That's precisely the implication drawn.
Mm-hmm.
Adam avoids the personal fall, yes, but by refusing to share Eve's fate, he severs that connection needed for a shared destiny, shared redemption. And think about Romans 5, that whole structure where death reigns universally because of one man's act. It completely breaks down.
Right, because the fall isn't universal anymore.
Exactly. Sin is contained, localized just to Eve's line. So there's no universal fall, and crucially, no structural need for a universal redeemer. The unfallen half doesn't need saving. The fallen half can't be reached. Isolation means doom for them.
Wow, okay. That's a staggering consequence right there. Let's connect that pattern forward. What about Hosea and Gomer?
The prophetic echo.
Hosea buying back his unfaithful wife Gomer is this powerful symbol of God's relentless love for Israel despite her unfaithfulness. What if Hosea just refuses? Says, no, I'm done.
Well, the prophetic message of mercy just evaporates. It's gone.
Instantly.
The texts, Hosea chapter 2 specifically, are pretty graphic about Gomer's punishment if left alone. Stripped, exposed, left to thirst, total desolation. If Hosea, the stand-in, the substitute, refuses to pay her redemption price, she faces all of that, alone, raw, no buffer.
And the bigger picture, for the covenant between God and Israel.
Total covenant dissolution, it collapses. If the husband figure walks away, it suggests symbolically God abandoning Israel permanently.
To the children's names, no mercy, not my people.
They become permanent realities, not just temporary warnings pointing to an eventual restoration. It's judgment sealed. No hope of return.
Okay, that leads us straight to the ultimate expression of this, Christ and his bride, the church. Ephesians 5 lays this out.
The antitype, yes.
The sinless Christ becomes sin for the deceived world, the church, to buy her back, cleanse her. So the thought experiment. What if Christ refuses that substitutionary role?
It's almost unthinkable within the theology. But if we follow the logic, without that substitution, that ultimate sharing of the cost, the bride, humanity, the church, bears sin's full wage, alone.
Which is death, Romans 6.23.
Exactly. It stands absolute, unopposed. There's no imputation of righteousness. The church stays, as Ephesians 5 puts it, spotted and wrinkled, unpresentable, unfit for union with God.
The whole purpose of the incarnation.
Nullified. If there's no substitutionary atonement, there's no redeemed bride.
And the end result, logically.
Eternal separation. It points directly towards final apocalyptic judgment. Think Revelation 20, the great white throne. No mediator, no advocate, no redeemer. The required union for salvation is breaking from the start. Judgment is the only possibility left.
So pulling this all together from this deep dive into the sources, the consistent finding seems to be that breaking this pattern, this refusal by the husband to share the cost, it always leads down the same path.
Always. Isolation, broken covenants, unredeemable judgment. It's quite stark.
The sources seem to hammer home that sin is just that destructive, that isolating. Restoration needs that voluntary substitution.
Yes. The husband's refusal, in every scenario we looked at, it just severs the bridge permanently.
Yeah.
It underscores how deep the problem of deception and sin is, requiring this very specific kind of rescue.
Which leaves us and you with a final thought to wrestle with.
Right. If the husband's refusal always cuts off mercy, always leads to judgment, What does that imply about the nature of justice itself? Does it mean that mercy perhaps is always contingent on this voluntary embrace from the undefiled party? That bridge has to be built by the one who doesn't need it for himself? Without that specific substitutionary act, the sources seem unanimous. The only shadow left is, well, inescapable darkness.